BNP Paribas, partenaire des plus belles histoires de Roland-Garros, aux côtés des ramasseurs de balles depuis plus de 50 ans.
My trip over was phenomenal, actually. Some funny stories there. We were supposed to... So, listen, okay. You asked me the first question. I don't even finish the first question, you take your phone out.
No.
But why?
Just welcoming Misha.
With your phone out? Yeah. Okay. Listen. No, my trip here was funny because we were supposed to fly yesterday evening at 6:45 p.m. And we took off from Hamburg, and we were flying together with Lehechka, Nakashima, some doubles guys, and we got struck by lightning, funny enough. So we had to do an emergency landing back in Hamburg. Couldn't find another plane, so everybody else flew, I think, the next morning. I took another plane and flew around 1 a.m., so I arrived here at 3. So that was quite funny. It was the first time experience, got struck by lightning midair, which was funny because it was just like a little noise, no real wobbling, nothing. But yeah, so that was my trip over. Best story of Roland-Garros so far.
But how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, worse cannot be.
English?
Hello.
Yeah.
It's the first time. It's the first year without Rafael Nadal. Doesn't change anything for you or for mentally?
Well, for me, last year, I mean, it changed a lot for me because last year I was playing in first round, so that wasn't the best feeling in the world when the draw came out because when you see him, you know, on Philippe Chatrier, this is the most respected and probably the most feared athlete inside of a stadium. I think Rafa Nadal on the Philippe Chatrier court is the most difficult task in sports history. So. Yeah, so for me the feeling was obviously very, very different. I'm playing another lefty, but obviously not somebody who won the tournament 14 times. But I think the fans will miss him. It's great to see that Roland-Garros is planning a big ceremony for him and planning something special. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that will be.
Alex, going back 12 months when you just won Rome and you obviously came in great form. It's not gone quite so well the last couple of months for you. Can you remember how you felt in this chair, say, a year ago? And is it a question of trying to rediscover that feeling just by playing? Is there anything you feel you can do to guarantee it, or is it just a work in progress?
Well, I think the first few matches will be very important for me, for sure. But again, Roland-Garros is different to all the other tournaments on clay. This is a Grand Slam. We're playing best of 5 sets. A lot of other things come into consideration here. Physical comes into consideration here a lot more than all the other events where we're playing best of 3 matches and best of 3 sets and have a day off in between. This is obviously very, very different. So, you know, I remember last year Carlos was kind of being asked the same questions because he had a very bad clay court season, and he came in here, was maybe struggling a bit more in the early rounds, but then found his rhythm and won the tournament. So I'm not saying that will happen to me, but of course that's what I'm looking for. That's kind of the path I'm looking forward to going as well. For me, the goal remains the same. Did I have the best preparation? Probably not, especially with the illness in Hamburg. I know that, so that's what I'm saying. It is crucial for me to play well in the early stages. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for this tournament. I'm excited for another opportunity, especially after the Australian Open. It would be great to come back on a Grand Slam court and yeah, hopefully take my chances.
Hi, Sasha. Oh, over there. 2 weeks ago, Caroline Garcia posted on her Twitter X page a message on trying to call out the culture of playing through injury. So I was wondering, do you resonate with that message, and what's your take basically on playing through injury?
Yeah, I obviously 100% respect that, and also for sure I can feel what she feels. The thing is, with us tennis players, it's a one-on-one sport, so we get the blame all the time, right? So like my situation in Hamburg, for example, would I have pulled out? I would have gotten blamed for a lot of different things. You know, I would have gotten blamed for coming there, probably taking the money and leaving after a match. You know, I would have gotten blamed for not taking the tournament serious and all that, which would have not been true. Now that I lost with illness, and I think everybody who knows tennis saw that I wasn't at 100%. You know, I'm getting blamed for playing with this kind of condition and finding excuses, kind of. So tennis is a big kind of blaming culture along the fans, and I think along social media as well. We do get a lot of hate. So yeah, I think the physical aspect of the game is very important, and the player's health is very important, but I think the mental health is extremely important as well, because I think in a one-on-one sport, you can't really hide. And for us tennis players, yeah, the abuse that we get on a daily basis online and through social media is extreme. I think the amount of it you guys don't see, because a lot of it is on hidden messages, on direct messages and all of that, but a lot of it we do see as players. So mentally I think it is a very difficult sport for us.
Hi Sasha, are you envious at all of players who don't have to come up, or coming up now, who didn't come up when you came up, when you had, you know, the three greatest players pretty much ever, sort of, if not in their primes, and pretty close to it? Or is it your sense that, you know, the sport keeps evolving and getting better and getting harder, and that it's just as hard as ever to break in now?
The question is whether it's harder to break through now or 10 years ago? Or?
Yeah, I guess to make it shorter and, you know, more concise. Yeah. And did it make you better having to fight through that, or are you envious of not having to do
I mean, no, I wish I would have not had the three greatest players of all time for the first 10 years of my career, because I think I would have won maybe 1 or 2 slams by now, and probably a few more tournaments. But at the same time, it was a privilege playing them. So, and I enjoyed every moment of it. But back to your question, it's different. It depends what breaking through is in your eyes. I think maybe breaking through to the top 100, top 50, maybe is more difficult now, because the depth of the game, and maybe even top 30 is more difficult now, because, as I said, everybody has so much depth, and players outside the top 30 and top 40 can still beat top 10 players, like we saw plenty of times this year. But I think breaking into the top 10 or top 5 in the world was more difficult back then, because 4 spots were taken at all times. And number 5, 6, and 7 was basically Stan, Delpo, and Thomas Berdych, more or less, or someone like Kei Nishikori or David Ferrer. So like 6 or 7 spots were constantly taken. You know, I don't see that nowadays. I see Yannick is very dominant, Carlos is very dominant. If you take away the last 3 months of my career, maybe I've been quite consistent at the top for the past 10 years. But then the next few spots, obviously Novak is still Novak. When he's fit and healthy and motivated, he's still the greatest of all time. But apart from those 4 spots, I think everything is up for grabs nowadays a little bit. So it kind of seems like the rise of players comes a bit quicker. Like Jack Draper this year is all of a sudden rising up to the rankings number 4 in the world very, very quickly. And he deserves to be. He's a great player. He's won a Masters. He made a final of another one. and he absolutely deserves to be where he is right now. You know, Jakob Mensik wins Miami. These kind of things, they absolutely deserve that, and I'm sure that they're going to win a lot of and plenty more tournaments in the future, and they're going to be great players, and they're going to be contenders for big events for many, many more years to come. But to do that 10, 15 years ago, I think it took you longer, just simply by the depth, because, you know, there's so many great players like Milos Raonic, Kei Nishikori, who never even won a Master Series, right? So I think them in their prime nowadays, maybe they would have achieved that.
Okay. Last one in English. English there. Yeah.
Jannik Sinner is playing his first Grand Slam after his suspension. How do you think the crowd will receive him? I remember last summer there were some spectators yelling some things at you as well. How do you think?
Last summer the crowd was great to me.
Okay, but how do you think they will receive him?
I think Jannik is loved, and he will always be loved by tennis fans. So if I'm in his shoes, I'm not too worried about the crowd too much.